Was that just working the clay to get it pliable?
It's called wedging. So there's air bubbles in the clay, and so you sort of push it like that and wedge it, and it actually puts a spiral into the clay. It starts to align the clay particles, and so when it's on the wheel, the clay is already starting to adopt that circular motion. And it also softens the clay and makes it kind of even to work with.
So you just cut a lump off and...
Yeah, so I weigh these out. So these are 2 pounds weights, so more or less, not absolute precision, but they're more or less the right sort of size. Ready to go.
And you weigh each unit before you throw it on, or?
Yeah. So I know all these are 2 pounds, and so that it'll make more or less the right size. Oh. Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Go for it. Show us your stuff, boss.
Right. So here we go. So we start off with about a 2 pound lump of clay, which we attach to the wheel head. So these are eventually going to be wall planters. So we throw them as a cylinder and then squash them in onto the wall. So the first sort of job you do is to centre the clay, which makes sure it's running true and centering in the middle of the wheel. And this is just a process of squeezing and coning in the clay.
Obviously you do tuition here as well, am I right in thinking
classes,
that?
Regular classes every Saturday morning. We have a whole range of different people coming along doing sculpture and all sorts of hand building and wheel throwing work as well. So, as well as educational classes for the school kids that come along.
Yeah, that seems to be quite a big thing I've gathered here at Amberley, is the fact that there are so many educational classes and school groups and things like that.
That's something we really enjoy doing, so.
It must be very rewarding for the children as well, I would have thought.
It just gives them an experience with clay that perhaps they don't have.
Well, I've always found it fascinating to watch things like that grow.
Yeah.
You know, just from a lump of clay.
Yeah.
How did you become involved in it then?
So I've been about 20-25 years I've been doing pottery as a hobby, and then about 6 or 7 years ago I had a career change and thought, well, can I make my hobby a pastime, really, a profession?
Yeah.
So
that's a very brave move.
it was, yeah. So the first instance is all about just getting the height right for the pots.
And that's all by eye, there's no...
Yeah, I mean you can use different
gauges and things.
Gauges and things like that. With the mugs we use gauges and try and become much more uniform, but for the plant pots there's a lot more tolerance. So, and they have a little rolled lip, so to give it an extra bit of weight on the lip. So we just thin the lip and then roll it over.
It is incredible, isn't it?
And that just gives it extra weight to the pot. It gives it a bit more of a balanced lip. And then the rest of it, really now we've got the height and the lip, really is about shaping now. So I'm just pushing out the clay to the sort of desired shape. Do that with my fingers, putting pressure on the inside of the pot.
Presumably you have to balance that with pressure on the outside from your hand.
Yeah,
And
so you always, with pottery, you know, your hands are like an armature in a way. You're always using both hands together all the time. You very rarely have a movement in pottery where you're using one hand on its own. So both hands are working in unison, counteracting the pressure that you're applying as you go along.
What do you call a little bit of scraper thing that you have?
Oh, that's just a credit card, that is.
I take it you don't use it at Tesco or Morrison's then?
But you can use a whole range of different tools. But, you know, flexible pieces of plastic are great. We've got some little aluminium shapes. You can use a whole range of different templates as well, and apply different patterns to the clay. It's kind of endlessly versatile.
It makes me think about wood turning, but with a flexible material rather than the rigid wood material.
Exactly, yeah. It has very similar properties actually. And also when we leave these to dry, I'll turn these upside down and we actually carve away a fair amount of the base just to shape it up further. So again, it looks very similar to the process is very similar to wood turning. So these are quite quick because, as I say, because they're just plant pots, there's not much finesse to them, so we can make them quite quickly. And then once they're drying, I can sort of squeeze them in. We'll put a hole in the side there and some decoration on the front, and that will be your plant pot that you put on the wall.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
All right.